Hey guys, I just wanted to do a response video from Tim from RageLag Gaming on the impending release of Command & Conquer from Limited Run Games. He did a little bit of a rant video and I totally get where he is coming from when you look at what is happening with this physical forever release of Command & Conquer. I do remember playing Command & Conquer Red Alert on, I think it was the original PlayStation. I did like that game, but this one is going to be released on PC. Now, the thing that really has triggered a lot of people about this release, that there is no actual physical copy of the game. It's downloadable from Steam, which to me is ridiculous. We're talking about a company that's prides itself on releasing physical only games, and they say forever physical, and there is no physical release at all. So looking at the limited edition of this, $149 US, there is no actual physical copy. Like I said, there may be some sort of special disc just highlighting the fact that it's at its 25th anniversary, but it won't be playable. So to me, this is a lot of money to pay for some plastic, to be honest with you. I've seen this before as well. I actually bought a collector's edition, the Sonic Mania collector's edition. Originally, it didn't come with a game. It was just a download code. I wasn't really happy about it, but because it was Sonic standing on a Mega Drive Genesis, that was the whole appeal for me getting it. But I didn't like the fact that there was no physical disc in there. And I've seen it with other releases of collector's editions, EB Games. There'll be these amazing figurines and all this other stuff included, but there is no physical release. So it's a code that you go onto the PlayStation Network and put it in and you download the game. I'm never for that. You should know that about me if you're a long-time subscriber to this channel. You know, as I was saying with the Sonic Mania, you know, it was a bit months later we actually got a physical release of it, so that was really cool. But you know, it should have been there to begin with. But I can see why a lot of people are getting a bit worked up about this. Also, you got to factor for us here in Australia, and I'm sure in Europe and other parts of the world too, because this is all in US dollars. With the coronavirus, the Australian dollar has dropped down to about 62 US cents. So in order to get this, plus I think Tim was saying the postage was about $50, that's 200 US dollars. That's going to be probably about 375 Australian dollars to get this thing here. And I'm not even sure when this is going to get a release from Limited Run. They do take a long time to get release of games. I've probably got 15 games from Limited Run. I'm not bagging them. I think companies like Limited Run, IM8-bit, Super Rare Games, they are needed for those smaller companies to release a physical game. You know, I'm all about physical releases. I'm not gonna, you know, bag them for releasing games physically, but this is from a company that prides itself on physical releases, and there's no physical game. Hopefully they'll take on board what people are saying, and come on, it doesn't cost much to burn and press a CD based game, or even if it's DVD. I don't know what they're using on PCs. I haven't played PC games in years, but you know, I think they need to rectify this and do it fast, because they do pride themselves on being a company that is forever physical. But for me, I've bought over 15 games from Limited Run. It is a pain waiting for these games to get released. I know they have to be sent to Japan to be approved by Nintendo. There's a whole process to get the actual games onto the carts. So that does take a while. I think people need to realize that there is a whole process to go through. And ultimately, with the stuff that Nintendo is doing, it has to be have a final sign off from Nintendo, and that's why I think, you know, we wait long periods of time for these games to get released. We actually do forget about the games that we do pre-order. I know I have, but I have got 15 games, and I think the last game I bought was Shantae the Pirate's Curse. They actually forgot to send this to me, but every other transaction I had, you know, it got to me, and they rectified this by sending me a copy. It did take a while for that to happen. But these companies, I think, yeah, they're taking some flack at the moment, but they are necessary if we want to have all of these smaller companies, independent companies, releasing physical games. Some of them are great, some are not so good. It's personal choice, up to you what you want to get. What I've got is, I think, a good cross section of games from Limited Run. It's just getting harder and harder for me to justify spending huge amounts of money on games from them. With the prices seems to be going up. I know they're looking at opening an office in the Netherlands, so I don't know how that's going to help us here in Australia. Even the euro is not doing too well at the moment. But yeah, I'm not too happy about this whole Command & Conquer with no actual physical release disc. So hopefully they will rectify it. So as we move into this full-on digital era, I'm sure with the PlayStation 6, whatever Microsoft throws at us in probably another 7 years' time, will be digital only. And that's going to be a day that I dread, because I want physical games, and that's the way it always will be for me. So yeah, it's disappointing to see this from Limited Run. Hopefully they can fix it. These companies are still necessary, even though from time to time we do bitch and complain about them. But if they're not around, then a lot of these games we're never going to see physically. And ultimately, we want our games physically. So yeah, that's all I have to say on that. But yeah, hopefully they will fix this up. So until next time, guys, bye.